We are officially 1 month away from the best content that Disney Plus will ever put out. Hello demigods, and welcome back to another YouTube video, specifically another Percy Jackson YouTube video. Thank you guys for joining me today. We are going to be doing a trailer breakdown of the first technical official trailer. We've gotten a bunch of short sort of teaser trailers. This is the first one that's like the official full-length trailer. It comes in at 2 minutes and 22 seconds. I have a bunch of other trailer breakdowns so you can go watch. Those videos are a little bit long for trailers that are only about like a minute and 30 seconds. This trailer is 2 minutes and 22 seconds. So I'm gonna do my best to make this video not 45 minutes long, even though I could talk about Percy Jackson for forever. If there are scenes that have been used a lot in previous trailers, I won't break those down as hard as I have in the past. You can go and watch all my other Percy Jackson videos. I have a playlist on my channel of all my Percy Jackson videos that you can go and watch. If this is your first time here on my channel, go ahead and make sure you subscribe if you're really interested in Percy Jackson. I do a whole lot of Percy Jackson content. It's kind of the main thing I post on YouTube, at least right now, just because I've been waiting many years for this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the trailer. So the trailer starts out with Percy and his mom Sally at the Met. This is actually a flashback of young Percy. This scene is kind of, Sally explaining to Percy, I guess, why he's named after Perseus and showing Percy's interest in the gods at a young age. This is actually a scene that the people at New York Comic Con got to see in full. If you're interested in all the stuff that they released at New York Comic Con, I do have, again, a separate YouTube video breaking down everything that they saw at the New York Comic Con panel, so you can go and make sure you check that out. But this right here is like, a little bit of the flashback scene that we get to see of Percy and Sally. I'm really excited that they're doing flashbacks of like younger Percy with his mom. I think it's going to really build their relationship a lot more than we already obviously love Sally and Percy. But, Sally does die pretty early on into the book. So it's going to be nice to have these flashbacks to really build up their relationship so that her death is even more tragic. We get a couple of really quick shots here in the trailer. First, we see the trio walking through somewhere that's super dark. This could either be the underworld, it could be Auntie M's Emporium. I'm not really quite sure. We get a nice little shot of Percy with his blue candy, which is super exciting because once again, something that is in the books. Percy and his blue food that isn't really acknowledged in the movies. Next, we see Grover, and I can only assume that this is Grover being dragged by the flying shoes that Luke gives to Percy. Then we get what looks to be a POV shot of Percy falling out of the St. Louis Arch, which is kind of funny. And then Percy running through the woods for Capture the Flag. Percy underwater. Hard to say where this is. If I had to guess, I would say this is in the Tunnel of Love. Again, we've got the shot of Percy in the rain. This is like one of the first shots we ever got of the show. I can't really tell where he is. He might be outside of Camp Half-Blood. This might be at the end of the show. I don't know. We've got Percy and Grover eating lunch outside of the Met. Here we get another great look at Nancy Bobofit, who, again, a character fully erased from the movies. Some more shots of Percy in the Met. Shots we've already seen from other trailers. Not going to dive too deep into it. This shot is really interesting. To me, this is Blackjack. This is a little Blackjack cameo early on in the show. A lot of people on Twitter also agree that this is Blackjack, which is Percy's Pegasus. I really like them putting Blackjack in here this early, even if Percy's not going to meet him or anything. It's just the fact that he's just been there the whole time, kind of freaking Percy out at a young age. It's just a cute little detail. We've got Chiron giving Percy Riptide, saying Chiron things. You know how Chiron is. We've got Sally and Percy at their cabin, and this is probably around the time where Sally's like, okay, Percy, I hate to break it to you, but everything I've told you is true, unfortunately. Here we've got another shot of Ares on the beach for the fight between Ares and Percy. There's been a lot of mixed reviews on this setting and like the use of the volume screen. When we first saw it in a previous trailer, a lot of people were saying that it looks really bad. I think it looks great, but maybe that's just me. Here we see the back of Medusa's head. Looks fantastic. I really think the VFX people on the Percy Jackson team really deserve their flowers. So far, from what I've seen in trailers of the monsters, the snakes, and Medusa's hair, everything looks really fantastic. I think the main VFX supervisor is Jeff White, so hats off to him. the design of the monsters and everything just looks really, really incredible. So speaking of the VFX supervisors, speaking of the monsters, we get our first shot at Cerberus, which is the 3-headed dog thing that's in the underworld. Again, something that wasn't really in the movie, and it looks, again, fantastic. Like, I really can't put it into words enough how much the visual effects of this show have been surprising me every time we get new footage, because I think one of the errors in most Disney Plus shows is that the VFX aren't really all that great, at least for specifically the Marvel shows. I know that that's been a major critique. So this looks like the budget of a movie to me, and that gets me really excited. More shots of Sally and Percy in their cabin. Here they are again using the same shot of the cabins at Camp Half-Blood, and once again, they are gatekeeping Athena's cabin from us. Free her. Show me my home. I'm serious. I want to see Athena's cabin really badly. I get, obviously, you don't want to put everything in your trailer. You got to leave some stuff for the show. So whatever, I get it. I think I spent a long time breaking down these cabins in a past video, but we've got from right to left, we've got Zeus, Poseidon, Ares, Apollo, and then in the next shot, behind the campers to the left of Apollo, I would assume is Hephaestus. That's his cabin. But here we've got Clarice, we've got Luke. I think that's Chris Rodriguez next to Luke, not sure. Essentially a bunch of campers jumping Percy about, 10 hours after his mom dies. Typical. I'm really loving the obvious age difference between Percy and the older campers. Something that was lost in translation in the movie because they aged up the trio. Percy is a little baby boy that is 3 apples tall, and he's getting bullied. And it's not so good to see because you never want to see someone getting bullied, but it's nice to see what was in the book accurately represented on screen. That's for sure. We've got more shots from the Minotaur scene here. We've got Sally Jackson being awesome and being all fast and the furious with her car. She's great. More shots of Camp Half-Blood. Again, looks fantastic. I believe this was filmed on site. This is like somewhere in Canada, and it looks gorgeous. A shot of Percy walking into his cabin. We've already seen that before. Here we get to see Poseidon and Percy meeting for the first time. That is the look of a deadbeat father. If we're assuming that this is their first time meeting, book accurate, etc., we can assume that behind them, that is what Mount Olympus looks like, which I think is pretty cool. It's definitely really different than how the movie depicted it, so I kind of like it. I can't get over the fact that that's just how Poseidon's looking at his son. I can't wait to hear Poseidon talk. That's something I'm super excited for. We've got Percy with the Master Bolt. I believe that this is the lobby of the Empire State Building. I think the design of the Master Bolt is super cool. We got to see it in an official poster that they posted, I think, about a month ago. I had a tweet that kind of got a little bit of traction where I was like, Walmart versus Gucci for lightning bolts, comparing the lightning bolt in the movie to this lightning bolt. Not comparing like the CGI. I think the CGI lightning bolt in the movie is great. Like, I don't think it's bad at all. But I mean, like, the design of it, the design of this Master Bolt is so much more intricate and detailed and like fancy, versus in the movie it just looks like a regular lightning bolt. There's nothing really godlike or fancy about it. But this looks like a Master Bolt. Shot of Percy, and I think in this shot he's in the big house. Not 100% sure. But I do want to point out, I don't know if it's some digital thing they did, or if it's just like the color grading of the trailer and show, or if it's contacts, but whatever it is, Walker's eyes look green. Like, they look like the color eyes that Percy is supposed to have, which is kind of cool. I know a lot of people complain and stuff about characters having different hair colors than they do in the books and having different eye colors than they do in the books, but whether that's the fact that he's surrounded by green right now, or it's color grading, or whatever it is, his eyes look like Percy's eyes. So I just wanted to, note that and think that looks really cool. He's talking to Chiron. I think this is them talking in the big house. This doesn't look like any specific cabin, if I had to guess. Next, we see Clarice with her electric spear. Looks great. Looks fantastic. Really happy that Clarice is getting like actual representation in this. And even the small detail of her having her spear is so important. We've got some capture the flag scenes, Percy versus a couple other campers, the poor little boy. This shot of Percy looking up, I think he's on a beach. This head to the left of the screen looks like it's Grover's head, so this is probably around the time that he's about to fight Ares, if I had to guess. Again, we've got the trio walking through like this dark woods area. This is the one place that I can't figure out where it is. I'm gonna have to reread the book. I haven't read the book in a long time, but we've seen this like dark woodsy area a couple of times in the trailers. It's got like statue looking things in it. It doesn't look like the underworld. I think it might be Antiem's Emporium, something along the lines of that. That's my best guess. Maybe it's them trying to run away from Medusa, or it's them running away from the train and they end up at Antiem's Emporium. I don't know what it is. But if anybody knows what that dark woody area is supposed to be, please comment down below and let me know, because I cannot figure it out. Here we see what I can only assume is the Camp Half-Blood Amphitheater, which is really cool. It's not exactly how I pictured it in my head when I read the book, but that's fine. I think it's a great design. We also get to see our first look of Mr. D standing there right next to Chiron. I don't know why in my head I always pictured him wearing Birkenstocks, but maybe that's just a personal thing. Yeah, we've got Mr. D, we've got Chiron, and I love the height difference between Percy and Chiron. Chiron just makes Percy look even shorter than he already is. Here we have our girl Annabeth. I think she looks great. She looks fantastic. Like this shot, even just her face, she's not even speaking. And even just this, it's like, yep, that's Annabeth. I get it. I understand why she was casted. Like, she just exudes wise girl energy, coming from somebody who heavily identifies with Annabeth, coming from somebody who is daughter of Athena. I get it, and I see it 100%. I love her. I just love her, you guys. And then we've got Grover. Sweet Grover. Grover was not in this trailer enough. You know, I wanted to see more Grover. This shot of the trio we've seen before. Looks like they're on a beach. Again, probably right before Percy goes to fight Ares. In fact, they're probably looking at Ares in this specific shot. Guys, this shot of Annabeth and her hat, huge. Absolutely huge. I think the biggest erasure that the movies did was Annabeth and her hat. And getting to see her use her hat for the first time, such an exciting feeling. Like, it's just, I went, ee. You can watch my trailer reaction. I got so excited when she put that hat on. I think the disappearing effects for when she has the hat on looks great. It's like there's a little bit of a shimmer where she is, and I love it, because it's like, yes, she's invisible, but pretty sure at a certain point in the books, Percy can still kind of tell where she is. So I do like the fact that there's just like a little bit of a shimmer. You can kind of see where she is, but she's still invisible. I love it. I love it. It looks great. We've got Luke. Guys, if you've been paying attention to my Percy Jackson videos, you know that every single trailer we get, one of the only things I beg for is to hear Luke talk. And we did. We finally heard him speak. I think the guy who plays Luke is really good casting, and I'm so excited to see more of him. I'm specifically excited to see how he plays Luke when Luke kind of switches up at the end of the book and, you know, starts his whole sort of villain arc. Really excited to see that. He's got Luke's scar on his face. It's all just good. You know, I really just can't say it enough how great of a feeling it is to be watching these trailers and to be like, from the book, that's from the book, that's from the book, that's from the book. It's such a great feeling. It really, really is. And you can tell a lot of care went into this show, and I just can't wait for it to come out. I really hope it gets renewed for season 2. It's all very exciting. But we get to hear Luke talk. Finally, we get a funny little scene of Percy attempting to shoot a bow and arrow, and obviously he sucks. The humor in the show looks great. I'm really excited for it. I think Walker Scobell is a very, very funny kid. I think he's got really great line delivery when it comes to comedy, so very excited to see him be a funny Percy. More shots again that we've already seen of Percy and Annabeth at Waterland and in the Tunnel of Love ride. We get to see it, guys. Finally, we get to hear Annabeth talk. I've been waiting for years. Once again, I think Leah Jeffries is born to play Annabeth. I think she's going to be fantastic in this show. Here we've got another shot of Percy. I believe that this is also in Mount Olympus. This is him probably when like Zeus or Poseidon walks into the room or something like that. You can tell he's up in the clouds. He is wearing Annabeth's necklace. So this is clearly, obviously, after he fights Ares. Here, we've got a shot of the trio. I believe this is them on the train when they first leave Camp Half-Blood. This is before they even get to Anthiem's Emporium, if I had to guess. Not 100% sure, but if I was a betting woman, that's what I think this is. This is probably when they realize that there are Furies on the train and Percy's got to get out of there. Now, this shot is interesting to me because this also looks like they're on the train, and I know that in the book, again, it's been a while since I've read it, so bear with me if I get things wrong or whatever, but I know in the book, Annabeth gives Percy her hat, and she's like, get off the train, we'll distract them while you get off, and then, you know, we'll get off too and meet you there, whatever. And then Annabeth has to, I think, fight one of the Furies, I think, but in this shot, it looks like Echidna is there. Like, that is Echidna right there, so I would assume that that's one of her monsters that's lifting Annabeth up. They don't meet Echidna until they get to the St. Louis Arch, and this looks like the train that they're on in the last shot. So either, it's one of two things, either this is not the train and this is some part of the Arch scene. I don't know where they are. It genuinely looks like they're on a train. So this is somewhere in the St. Louis Arch scene, and this is Annabeth meeting Echidna for the first time, or Rick's changed something up. He's added something. Who's to say? Maybe Echidna and the Furies are working together instead in the show or something. And this is the train scene where she does have to fight one of the Furies, and it just also happens that Echidna is there. I don't really know. All I know is this seems like something that's might not be in the book, which is fine. I'm totally fine with Rick adding whatever he wants to add if he feels like it's going to make his series better. If he thinks it's going to improve the series, you go ahead, Rick. You add it. You go ahead. But if anybody has any suspicions as to what this scene is, you go ahead and let me know in the comments. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Next, we've got Percy and Grover in what one can only assume is the underworld. Now, I'm curious, where is Annabeth? Because I know in the book, she distracts Cerberus so that they can sneak past him to get further into the underworld, but she goes with them into the underworld. It's a little weird to me that Annabeth is not in this shot, but you know, obviously we won't know anything for sure until we watch the show, so it's not that big of a deal. We've seen this shot of the trio multiple times, and every time we've seen it, I've been like, if I was a betting woman, I would bet that this is the Lotus Hotel scene, and yes, it is. This is them walking into the casino for the first time, and guys, we got our first trailer look, we got our first line from none other than Lin-Manuel Miranda as Hermes. Once again, if you've been watching my Percy Jackson YouTube videos, you know how I feel about the casting of Lin as Hermes. I personally quite like it. I know there's a lot of people that are against it, you know, to each their own. I know a lot of people have been like, why is he in a hoodie? I think that's a really weird critique. We all know that when the gods are in like human form, they make it so that they blend in with everybody. Like the shot of Poseidon that we have, he's wearing just a relaxed dad shirt. So, you know, I don't think we need to judge the fact that he's in a hoodie. I think it's fine and it makes sense. And I think it's really funny that Hermes is up in the casino this entire time when his son is literally plotting his downfall somewhere. Then we have a shot of what looks like Grover running across tables in the casino. And then we have Percy tackling somebody. I don't remember this happening in the book. Once again, you know, there's probably something added to this whole casino scene to ramp it up a little bit. You never know. There could be a musical number with Lin-Manuel Miranda involved. You literally do not know when anybody's going to be breaking out into song. It could happen at any point in time, okay? I personally would be fine if the casino scene had a little bit of a musical in it. I like musicals, so I don't have any personal problem with that. I really don't remember Percy tackling anybody, though, so I can't tell who this is. The only person that I can think of it being is the Darren person that Percy meets in the casino. And Darren is like the person that makes Percy realize that the casino's weird and it sort of like pauses time. And that's when he notices that everyone around him has like different decades outfits on. And he's like, okay, we gotta get out of here. So maybe I don't know why he would be tackling him, but I don't know why he'd be tackling anybody. Maybe he's just trying to fight so he can get out of the casino. I don't know. I'm sure we'll figure it out when we get there. I just thought it was peculiar that he was tackling somebody. More shots of Ares versus Percy. So embarrassing to be watching a grown-ass man fight a 12-year-old boy. It's really, really funny to see. Once again, I think the volume screen looks great in these shots. I think the camera work looks cool, and I think the sword action's also going to be really awesome. So I don't really know what people are complaining about when it comes to the volume screen, but that's just me. This shot is interesting because Percy's not wearing Annabeth's necklace yet, and I'm pretty sure Annabeth gives him her necklace before he fights Ares. But I just thought it was interesting that he's not technically wearing Annabeth's necklace right here in this shot. More of the Minotaur scene. Sally looks like she's trying to distract the Minotaur. Great scene for Percy and Sally. I think that it's going to be a very heartbreaking moment when Sally bites the dust. And finally, to end out the trailer, we've got a little funny moment of Percy during Capture the Flag being like, oh, you know, maybe I won't need a sword. And then we cut to the top of the St. Louis Arch where we see him getting ready to fight the Chimera, which looks fantastic. It looks really good. The design of the monsters looks really, really great to me. And then it cuts back to Percy, capture the flag. Yeah, I do need a sword. And we see a little bit of Chimera action there. And that is the end of our official trailer. Now, considering the fact that we're officially, at least as of right now when I'm filming this, we are officially 1 month away from the first 2 episodes dropping. I'm pretty sure it's a 2-episode premiere. I don't know if we're going to get another trailer or anything anytime soon. We'll probably get like a scene, like a sneak peek at a full scene. I know Disney Plus likes to do that every once in a while, but it's very possible that this is the last sort of big chunk of footage that we're getting for the show, which is fine. You know, a month is nothing. November has flown by for me personally, so I know this next month is going to go by pretty fast, especially because it's holiday season. That season always goes by super fast anyways. I really just cannot wait for this show. I've been looking forward to it ever since it got announced, and it's finally here, and it's so crazy that we're getting it in 2023. Thankfully, the writer's strike is over and the actor's strike is over. So the actors are finally able to promote their show, which is super exciting, and I'm really glad that they're going to get to be doing their press tour for it and stuff. Those kids deserve it. They've put a lot of work into this show and being these characters, and everybody deserves to be able to promote their work. I'm really excited. Make sure you let me know in the comments down below if you're excited for the show, if you enjoyed the trailer. The little spots in the trailer that I had questions about, please let me know if you have any intel or ideas for that. I love reading y'all's comments. Once again, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to my channel. There's lots of Percy Jackson content always coming your way. Make sure you follow all my other socials. I talk about Percy Jackson essentially everywhere, literally everywhere. There's going to be a lot of content when the show comes out. I'm going to have reactions to the episodes. I'm going to have episode breakdowns, all that kinds of stuff. So make sure you follow me everywhere that you can so that you don't miss any of it. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys think about this trailer. I thought it was great. A lot of shots, obviously, we've already seen in previous trailers, but there was lots of new stuff, lots of new dialogue. I think it was just the right amount of stuff in a trailer. It gave me just enough to get me really, really excited for the show in 1 month. But that just about does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this trailer breakdown. Once again, you can watch all my other Percy Jackson videos on my YouTube channel. There are a bunch of them, so if you've been missing out, don't worry. I got you. You can go check those out. But that about does it for this video, so I will see you guys next time.